Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode we're going to take a look at the continuous involvement of George Lucas in Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee.
I have spoken.
Hello there to all of the returning subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're just finding Star Wars Coffee for the first time, be sure to always hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. And don't forget to check out Star Wars Coffee on Twitter and Twitch, and don't forget to check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise. Links are in the description below.
Do it!
And now let's go to a galaxy far, far away.
This is the way.
So The Clone Wars came out today. Episode 2 is out, and you can watch that now on Disney Plus, streaming episodes 1 and 2 of Season 7. I've already watched it. I've prepped some notes for my review later, so look for that later today. But we're going to be taking a look at George Lucas and his involvement in Season 7 of The Clone Wars with this interview that Dave Filoni gave. And he gave this to IndieWire, and we're going to take a look at it and see what Dave Filoni has to say about Season 7 and about the involvement of George Lucas. So let's take a look. Star Wars The Clone Wars. Dave Filoni discusses the final episodes in George Lucas's ongoing mentorship. A long time ago, where Disney didn't have its own streaming service, the future of Star Wars The Clone Wars seemed bleak. The fan-favorite animated series, which centers on the conflict that helped shape much of the franchise mythology, was effectively cancelled when Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney in 2013. Though a sixth season eventually made its way to Netflix, the series was axed before several of its key story arcs were resolved, throwing future tales of spunky Jedi Ahsoka Tano, clone troopers Rex and Cody, and the series' myriad of other characters into doubt. It took 6 years, but longtime fans will finally get their long-awaited send-off when the 7th and final season of The Clone Wars kicks off on Disney+. IndieWire recently spoke to supervising director Dave Filoni about the series' evolution and his role in expanding the Star Wars television universe and crafting a story about the battle between good and evil while keeping things accessible for audiences of all ages. The most immediate challenge was the difference in longtime viewers will notice from Season 6 to 7 is the graphical upgrades. Filoni and his team had ample time to hone their talents in making use of new technologies while creating Star Wars Rebels, and the results are apparent. While technological advancements haven't simplified the development of the Clone Wars, new tools have made it possible for the series animators to expand the scope of the action scenes to live up to the galaxy-spanning conflict that show derives its name from, according to Dave Filoni. He says, "It wasn't simple. It's not like we just go down and turn the Clone Wars machine on again. Some things get easier, but you're pushing the boundaries in other ways. You find ways to be more efficient and achieve things with the number of clones we could put on the battlefield, while some types of effects are rendered and textures also have changed. Overall, it's not easier, but there are more possibilities. One thing hasn't changed. It's ever-present of challenging and creating a meaningful story when most viewers already know how the things end. The Clone Wars takes place between episodes 2 and 3 of the Skywalker saga. The final episodes of the Clone Wars are less of a continuation of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Padme Amidala stories, though they're still key parts of the series, and more of an opportunity to wrap up the arcs of fan-favorite characters, such as Ahsoka Tano and Rex. Dave Filoni says, "The Clone Wars has always been about what happens in the eponymous conflict, and more about why things already played out and being wrapped up. And Star Wars Rebels, but his return in The Clone Wars Season 7 gave Filoni and his team the opportunity to delve into the nature of evil and the dark side of the Force by utilizing the character Darth Sidious. I began making The Clone Wars right after Revenge of the Sith came out and didn't know at the time that Anakin had a Padawan or that Maul was alive or anything about the personal nature of the clones," Dave Filoni said. "What happens in the end for these characters? Maul is an instigator for many of the things that happen, and we learn things about him that tells us more about his perception of evil and the workings of Darth Sidious." The series has featured plenty of recognizable characters over the years, while various arcs fleshed out dizzying array of obscure Star Wars characters and locations. The Clone Wars had several more plot threads, including episodes that would have focused on Darth Maul, that were cut short due to Disney's acquisition. Some of these storylines were incorporated into Season 6, while some were released in the form of novels or comic books. Plot details about unfinished arcs were eventually released online, but it seemed unlikely they would ever see the light of day again. The Clone Wars Season 7 will finally resolve some of these. In other words, it's Star Wars. Though the franchise has continued to expand and evolve since creator George Lucas sold the company to Filoni, Disney said he endeavors in Star Wars projects in line with Lucas' vision and noted that he still occasionally discusses series concepts and other ideas with George Lucas to ensure that the Clone Wars and projects are faithful to the franchise mainline films and ideologies. We still talk, and if I'm stuck, I will bug George for ideas, because he is the canon, Filoni said. He created it, and I respect that. One of my jobs and purposes is to keep things as intact to what George laid down as possible. It is for kids, George would always say that over the years, but the beauty is that everyone can watch it and everyone can enjoy it if you get the show right. As for Filoni, his career continued to evolve alongside the Star Wars franchise. We were learning, and we put it on, and we put it out in a time where you get more of a shot with the audience than you do now, Filoni said. By the time the movie came out, we were making individual series episodes that were much better. We knew we could make something worthwhile if we kept at it. George went to bat for us and was very patient. The 2008 film introduced viewers to Ahsoka Tano, who gradually became one of the franchise's standout characters. Characters such as Yoda, General Grievous, and Count Dooku and Darth Maul have since popped up in the animated series, and Dave Filoni has also incorporated more obscured characters from the expanded universe. Filoni is keeping quiet about any surprise appearances for other cameos of Season 7 of The Clone Wars, but if his track record is any indication, one of the final episodes of The Clone Wars offer longtime fans a few surprises and unexpected twists. If you grew up enjoying the part of the saga, Season 7 is the proper ending for it, Dave said. It's nice that we can deliver a proper ending for this, and even 15 years later. Doing this series is still a tremendous amount of fun. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it!
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.